From Koreatown, Los Angeles, thank you for tuning in to Ktown Social Club. This is where Koreans get together to talk about the issues you really care about. It's a different kind of a talk program. We're the only show that offers perspectives from the far left to the far right. Remember to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. I'm Michael Kim, joined by Michael Wan, Ed Choi, and Douglas Kim. Thank you for joining our program. Here we are together again on Ktown Social Club. Oh, yeah.
Where's Tom Likas?
We didn't do that
For who? Who are we coming for?
Yeah, I think Douglas could have been the Korean Jim Carrey. I feel that way.
Yeah.
You
I would
have
be
that
offended
facial
at that.
expression.
That's
No,
what
no,
I mean.
no.
That's what I
Strived
imitated
for?
growing. Yeah, that's actually
Right?
kind of what I strove for.
You did
Yikes.
practice those, right? I can see
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I never thought I was going to be an actor or try to be an actor or anything when I was a kid. It was just like something I did to like.
Yeah, but he makes those wild facial expression. You know that, right? Douglas? It's like,
Alrighty then.
Oh, God.
So today we're going to cover three things. One of them is a new communist party has just formed in the United States. And we're going to find out if it's a communist party that Doug approves of.
somebody seems excited.
Yeah. Try to contain yourself, Doug. Okay.
Another one we're going to cover is Falun Gong a cult? There was some more stuff on Twitter recently.
Yes.
We're also going to talk about the Korean American spy.
Oh yeah, Temi Suri.
What?
Is it Suri Temi? Yeah, Temi Suri.
Sumi
Terry.
Sumi Terry.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sumi Terry.
And then if we have time, we're going to go into whether Asians are anti-black or are black people anti-Asian.
You picked some controversial
both.
topics.
Wait, why'd you pick 4 topics? We usually only do 3.
No. We're probably only going to do 1 or 2. Okay. Because last time I talked, I mentioned like 10 things and we only covered like 2 or 3.
Yeah. I think so,
You,
yeah.
the list went on forever last time.
Yeah. So let's start with the new Communist Party
Yeah.
in the United States. Now, I already know of a Communist Party. It's called the Communist Party of the USA, CPUSA.
Yep.
They've been around a long time. I've heard of a PSL, the Party for Socialism and Liberation. That's a newer Communist Party. There's also, I think it's called Workers' World or something, which I think PSL branched off from after there was infighting there.
You said communism
Communists
tends
always-
to have a lot of infighting,
they hate each
right?
other, yeah.
Communists.
But capitalists do too, right? Republicans,
True.
Democrats, and whatever, libertarians, they all
Yeah.
argue too, right?
Yep.
And then there's a new one I saw announced on Twitter yesterday, or X, by Doug's favorite communists, Jackson Hinkle and Haz Aldin. They were involved in there. I saw a picture with all of them together saying, launching the new American Communist Party, the ACP.
So the two biggest communist stars in America.
Well, also
right?
they're also combining with Midwestern Marx, which is another large communist kind of I guess social media group or whatever. I don't know.
Midwestern Marx. I've seen.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the young
Eddie
the young white
Leiger-Smith.
guy?
Yeah.
Skinny white guy,
He's
right?
he's like a jacked white guy.
Okay.
Like he does Olympic style weightlifting.
Oh, I see. Okay, I'm thinking of someone else.
No, but he's a wrestler too, I think.
So I saw that picture of I guess they're the founding members or something. There was a
Yeah.
bunch of them. Most of them were young dudes.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw any Asian dudes on there, but
that was
one
my
thing I was
question.
like, damn, Doug should be in this picture because you support those guys. You are a communist. So what do you think of them? Are they a good group?
Yeah, I've been following obviously Infrared, which is Haz's kind of outfit, and I think Jackson Hinkle. He's not officially part of Infrared, but he has his own thing. But I think they kind of like allied, 3 years ago. I think they met each other for the first time 3 years, Haz and Jackson Hinkle on a stream, and they kind of like started to work together after that.
Before Jackson Hinkle blew up, they were
Yeah, I mean, Jackson Hinkle was already somewhat of a presence, like not to the
okay.
extent today, but like, he had 100K followers and stuff like that. So he was already kind of like on the scene 3 years ago.
Right. And here's the picture. It says Biden serves Zionists and warmongers. Trump serves Zionists and warmongers. But we at the American Communist Party are the answer to freeing America. So here are the dudes. One black dude, mostly white, huh? They all seem to work out.
Well, Haz is, he is Lebanese, so he's not.
Yeah, I was gonna say some of them
White,
do look like they're.
Oh, this guy does too. Even Jackson Hinkle looks like he could be
He's
from the
Hispanic, Carlos, next to Jackson on the right.
next to Jackson. Oh, this guy, he's Hispanic, like Afro-Latin or something.
Yeah, him and the blue shirt guy, those are Midwestern marks.
So you know all of them, Doug.
as well as the
This
guy
is Midwestern marks, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
as well as the guy in the suit with the blue shirt, light blue shirt.
this guy.
Yeah.
No, this is the guy I meant. I didn't know he was so jacked because I only see his face in his
Yeah.
videos.
He does a lot of wrestling.
And Jackson Hinkle is the one on the left,
Jackson
right?
Hinkle is this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Haas is
The
this guy.
only two that look like they could potentially stereotypically be communists are the two on the right.
These guys.
Because they look Russian or something.
You know, Asians make up. There are more
There are more
Asians
Asians,
in
right?
communists
Yeah.
around the world than anything else.
In
Shouldn't they
China,
have a couple
right?
Asian?
Welcome
dudes?
to America.
Well,
No,
this
do
is
you take
America.
offense to this? Like they should
first
have
of all,
reached out to you. Man.
First of all, no, I don't take offense. I think they've been working on this for a while, and
okay.
you know, I'm not like a huge presence myself, so like, you know, they're more kind of like in the mainstream than I am. So I don't really take offense to that. I am, you know, mutuals with a lot of them, obviously, and I talk to a lot of them, so it's fine. I don't really like take offense to any of that.
Yeah, I was just kidding,
as far as Asians being in communism, well, we all know that since Hart-Celler in 1965, the majority of Asian Americans are anti-communist because that's precisely what we were brought over to do. We were supposed to you know, come to America, show, you know, our communist countries how great capitalism is. That's basically why we were allowed to come to this country. And so
And you grew up hating communism too, without
yeah,
knowing
exactly.
it, right?
It's funny. I was named after Douglas MacArthur,
Yeah.
like I told you. But you know, I thought it was mainly because you know he fought the Japanese in World War II, and like I knew about the North Korea stuff, Korean War stuff, but I didn't really know that much about that. But I thought it was primarily because you know he freed us from the Japanese. But when I talked to my mom, he was like, no, it's because of the Korean War. And I was like, wait, do you even know what he did during the? It's like, wait. And she was like, oh, I don't know anything about that. It's like, how do you not know about the American military in against the Japanese? Like, literally, this is how we got, Independence Day, right? August 15th is literally from, freeing from the Japanese. So how do you not? So I realized, there's a lot of educating I need to do with my own parents as to history. But B, that, like, yeah, I used to be, like you said, I used to be a very anti-communist. I was like rah-rah capitalism. I was actually...
You were in that field too, the investment bank industry, or
I mean,
You're a consultant, right?
Consultant.
Consultant.
I was less more about like being anti-communist then. I was more like anti-communist when I was like in middle school.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like learning about American history, and I kind of like drank the Kool-Aid, right? Like, oh yeah, it's about freedom and democracy, and those Russians, they're just trying to, make freeloaders out of it. Like I bought all the lines about communism back then because it was just like, yeah, like patriotism and all this other stuff. So I understand why there's not that many, because I don't think there are that many legitimate Asian American communists in America.
In America, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Jackson Hinkle, I saw an interview with him and Chris Cuomo, and he sounded very logical. I liked that 1-hour interview that he did with Chris Cuomo, because Chris Cuomo wanted to learn about communism growing in America, and I think he didn't.
Yeah,
sound
Jackson
off.
Hinkle's very put together. He's very well spoken.
His video here has breaking this news, this new party. He's got over 3 million views here already.
Wow,
So-
that's a lot.
Well, I mean,
He
he
does
already
get
has
a lot of views.
2.6 million
Oh,
followers.
that's
Yeah,
a
some
lot.
of his video clips gets close to
Well,
like 8,
but I
9
mean-
million, right?
But I mean, this post didn't even get 100,000 views, but to see that video get 3 million views, and it's been shared, 4,000 times already, 4,500 comments. I mean,
Visit the site for a second, ACP Main. Click on that on the right. Yeah.
17,000
So yeah,
followers.
they just launched yesterday, and they already have 17K followers. So.
and
The
there's
majority of their followers in the U.S., you think?
I can't. I don't know.
But how about
that.
Maga
I think
comment?
Twitter in general is mostly U.S., but like
of the
again,
people I
can't
know
really-
here, it seems to be mostly U.S. based.
How about Maga communists? Is there a lot of
So they're
chunk?
they're connected. It's
Oh, they're
basically the
connected.
same sort of like
Oh, okay.
principle that they're trying to promote.
But what does
yeah.
like PSL? There's already these other communist groups. Why are these guys making a new one?
I think so. The traditional one, like you mentioned, was CPUSA, right? They've been
Right.
around since what 1920,
And I think their LA branch is in K-Town.
Or is it CPUSA?
So over the years, they have been kind of like the Communist Party representative in America. But I think after World War II, especially during the Cold
McCarthyism.
War, and McCarthyism, like you said, they've been kind of like taken over by federal operatives in the CIA. In that they're allowed to exist, but only to kind of like steer people away from the actual issues
So
that
you
are.
had some spies there.
Yeah. So they've pretty much turned into kind of just like a vehicle to support the Democratic Party, which is not
Which
about.
you really hate.
Yeah. And so, because I don't think that's about communism at all. It's just about liberalism. And so, a lot of like individual chapters of the CPUSA, like all around the country, they've been voicing a lot of discontent with the CPUSA as well. And recently, I think during one of the CPUSA kind of like conventions or whatever, they actually platformed a Zionist to say like, to talk about communism or whatever. And like like someone from Israel who's a Zionist.
A pro-Israel Israeli Zionist who supports the Gaza massacres and all that.
Well, I don't know if
on.
he's like openly supporting like the massacres, but like, he's supporting the state of Israel.
And Zionism and communism doesn't mesh, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And so like people took that as a signal that the traditional CPUSA is not the Communist Party that they grew up with or whatever, or, that formed in the 1920s, and now they're kind of trying to redirect into this new Communist Party that like basically goes into the actual principles of Marxism, Leninism, like closer to the Soviet Union when Stalin was in power. And so when you see the actual, I don't know what you're looking at now, but when you see the actual document, I don't know if you've read the document that they made when they declared there, but that also has a lot of chapters from the CPUSA who are behind them as well. So it's kind of like reconstituting a communist party that other CPUSA kind of players can, organize around.
Okay, so to put it, short, basically Communist Party USA is not a communist party at all. It's run by or controlled by or infiltrated by the U.S. government,
Yes.
the deep state.
Sure.
At this point, right?
Sure. Yes.
But then there is another one, like the other well-known one, and these people are always out at protests and everything. The Answer Coalition, Act Now, Stop War, End Racism. They're affiliated with the PSL, the Party of Socialism and
PSL is
Liberation.
another like kind
That's
of
another
like,
communist group. So what's wrong with that one?
they emphasize liberal identity politics issues like trans, whatever. They heavily kind of like focus on those things instead of actual like yes, they do give some I guess attention to anti-imperialist stuff, but only when it's like frontline head page news when they can't ignore it. Like communists should be, the main contradiction of capitalism is imperialism, right? The idea that once a capitalist country exhausts all the labor and resources within its own country, what does it do? It needs to get more and more profits. So it has to go to other countries. It has to like mess with other countries like shit in order to get more and more profits. So that was the theory that Lenin produced in 1917 when he said imperialism is the highest stage of capitalism. It's like when capitalism is at the most developed, it starts going out to other places to try to take over and take over their countries and whatever. And this is the thing that must be emphasized over any other issue, whether domestic or whatever, or any sort of
Which
identity
happened in Great
politics issue.
Britain too, right? Not just in America. I mean, the
So yeah,
capital-
that was
right?
basically what
Yeah.
Lenin was talking about, because Great Britain at the time had the largest
Yes.
empire. Like literally, they had to like keep seizing territory and taking, like India, for example, was their crown jewel or whatever. They extracted trillions of dollars of wealth over the 200 years they were there, and killed millions of Indian people through famines and other sorts of like military action in order to enforce their rule. And so I think that the PSL is more focused on these like again liberal and democratic
It
issues.
doesn't sound like it doesn't mesh with the communism
Exactly.
that you believe in, right?
Right.
It's like more of a LGBTQ, like
Exactly.
the
It's
liberal
just like
mainstream.
concentrating
mainstream.
on these liberal identity politics issues instead of the actual issues that communists should be caring about.
which is kind of more China
yeah,
grain of
cooperation
communism,
with
right?
China and like bringing like, hey, what is China doing that we can try to implement? What is like the economic policies that they're trying to implement, and how are they, like how is imperialism shaping policy around the world? And these kinds of issues that should be at the forefront, but they're not, unless there's obviously like a war in Israel, and then obviously they can't ignore it, and
Okay.
then they try to
Yeah.
like get in front of it by being look at all these protests we're making or whatever, but these protests don't even do anything. So
the new one is ACP, you said? The new one?
Yeah.
yeah.
So this one kind of is more
Founded
of
one day ago.
is this more of a traditional sense, you think, of communism rather than the ones that you just mentioned, TP?
Yes, they are.
Wait, pause right there. Political position, far left.
But then read the description here. It's a socially far right fascist political party. Like I don't know.
That one caught your eye, right?
Are they far right fascist, far left? What is this?
What is it?
just-
Syncretic?
I mean, anyone can edit a wiki.
Yeah. Wikipedia is like it's been shown since
Actually-
2014.
But
that
look at
the
all these.
CIA
Look at all these
has-
communist party. Like I wrote down here, and then I just looked for
is
more.
Wikipedia kind of CIA op? I mean,
So what I think has probably happened is that the ACP people, they probably created this
Yeah.
wiki themselves,
Originally.
Okay.
and now other
people are
editing
editing
it to
it.
like,
Yep.
oh, this is a fascist organization, blah blah blah, or whatever.
Okay, but anyway, there's
But
so
from
many.
the ACP, they identify as a far left.
I think it's just that
No, I mean-
the CIA and the Wikipedia and the Western intelligentsia considers communism far left.
okay.
I was just curious.
It's,
Hey,
it's in a-
that the reason why MAGA communists kind of aligns slightly with Trump because of the
No, so MAGA communism is more about the idea of MAGA rather than like being Trump kind
Okay,
of like
the idea.
oriented. It's more about like, hey, the working class in America, regardless of race, has been like
decimated.
because of deindustrialization and all these other changes that really
Outsourcing.
just serve the ruling class, whether Democrat or
Outsourcing, right?
Republican.
Yeah.
Right? All this money that's just going to them from like corporations that are moving all their stuff abroad and whatever, and so this is kind of like eating away at the kind of economic base from the inside, and that's kind of like why in many of our opinions that Trump came to prominence in 2016. It was about the economy because like a lot of
Working
people
class.
saw a lot of people who voted for Trump actually also voted for Obama.
That's true.
Like there's
Yeah.
a lot of people that
I know.
missed that
There's a lot
piece.
of-
And so like when you're looking at that, like, okay, what was the reason why? Did they just all of a sudden turn all these like rabid racists?
Because I was
No,
an
it
Obama
was-
supporter too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked him.
So
his policies.
so the conclusion is that something wrong economically was going on in the country, and that's what the Democrats were trying to, shy away from or say like, oh, that's not a case, that's not the issue, whatever. You're just a white supremacist who whatever. Because like when you see Dave Chappelle, he said he
From
was
Ohio.
doing something on SNL when he was like saying when he saw Trump and Hillary speak for the first time.
Oh yeah.
He
did that.
He
bit.
said to
Saturday Night Live.
Trump like they would be like, Hillary was like, the economy is fine, like, everything is fine, there's no corruption, and then like Trump is like, oh, of course there's corruption, like like blah blah blah, and then when when they asked Trump, he's like, okay, Mr. Trump, like why would you say this? Like
remember that, yeah.
I know this because I use the
did.
same
Yeah,
system
yeah,
for my
yeah,
benefit.
yeah. He
They're
did.
not telling you the truth.
Yeah.
And then Dave Chappelle said, "Yeah, a star was born."
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Okay, so with all these different communist parties, and now there's a new one. Do you think this is the one that's going to finally succeed?
I mean, I can't like say for certain, but this is the one that I'm getting behind.
Okay.
Are you going to try to join them? Or?
Yeah, I'm going to join them.
So you'll be like the first Korean representative,
I don't know
or
if I'm the first screen, but maybe.
I mean, they look pretty.
But you need a star, right? And Jackson Hinkle is the biggest star here, and the other dude, what's his name?
I mean, I
That's
think like that we're not. I mean, obviously we're communists, so we're not like talking about great big man theory and
Okay.
stars or whatever. We're trying to say we are the people, or we're trying to represent the masses. We're not trying to say, oh, we need to rally around the star or whatever. That's more liberal.
Is that more of a-
fascist thinking?
Okay.
in my opinion.
What star?
Like
No,
a
because
star.
Like
I
the
said,
biggest,
there should be like
yeah,
a figurehead,
prominent
like
person,
thing.
yeah.
But what
Yeah, we
Doug
don't-
is saying
we
is
don't
we don't need a
believe in that kind of
figurehead.
stuff,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
What do you
That's more of
mean?
a propaganda
There's always
thing.
there's always a star, whether it's Stalin or Kim or Ho,
Right,
or
but they didn't
Castro.
they didn't get to where they were by propaganda, by being propagandized into being in power.
I know, but one of them is going to have to be the face. Would it probably be Jackson Hinkle then?
I mean, I guess like what I'm saying is that we're not going to manufacture a face.
It should be
If a
it
face
should be
arises,
organic.
Then yeah, exactly.
You're saying it should be
exactly.
organic. Okay.
Well, good luck to the
So-
ACP if they're going to make our lives better.
Well, obviously, there's not going to be any like their plan is to have enough of a presence by 2036. Like, so they know it's going to be a hard task ahead of them. They know that, like, obviously this election cycle, nothing's going to happen. But the point is to start something that's going to build towards that future.
Oh, for 2036.
Well, that's their stated goal of like how I don't like to become enough of a presence that they can make some sort of noise by then.
You think all the 3 million people that follow Hinkle are
2.6.
2.6
Yeah,
are like
2.6.
supporters of communism, or just people who are curious haters?
I mean, there's
There's
like,
definitely always hate followers for sure. I can
with
attest
that
to
many
Oh, okay.
followers, there's definitely hate followers. There's definitely like followers just all over whatever. I think a lot of them were probably from the Middle East. I know he has a lot of support from
And Russians.
Russia and the Middle East.
From
just
Palestine, right?
Because yeah, he became prominent by speaking out against Israel and being one of the first people to speak out. Like, in the beginning on October 7th, I think like there was still a lot of people that were like, well, Israel has a right to defend themselves and whatever. It was very taboo to even talk
Initially, yeah.
anti-Israel. But he was one of the first people, as was I, and a lot of communists who were like, no, this is fucking bullshit.
So you think people who are disenfranchised by both parties, like politically homeless people, can probably gravitate towards,
Yeah, that's what we're hoping.
right?
I
Communist
think
Party?
one reason why Jackson Hinkle can win over a lot of conservatives is the problem with a lot of leftists or communists or socialists, whatever. A lot of them just look and behave horribly.
Yeah.
I'm talking like weird hair and like, I don't know, shit all over the face and like wearing like, curse word shirts or something. And they're screaming at people. I'm talking about what I've seen.
So that's what I mean. That's why I say I don't want to be called far left, because when you say all those things, that's what I think when I say far left. Because far left is more connected with anarchy and
Like
just
Antifa, right?
and
Kind
just
of.
like general sort of like I'm against the system. I'm a rebel without a cause type like kind of. But that's not a political position. That's just more of like a teenager type mentality. Of
I
being
mean,
like,
you look more normal,
yeah.
but I mean, you do have the anger. But I think that's one reason why, yeah. So you agree that it helps that Jackson looks like a
Yes.
very straight cut.
clean cut
Yeah.
white
Because
boy.
like
Yeah,
what
he
we're
is.
trying to promote is communism is about like the working class, and what do the working class people do? They work, and so, like I think, in order to present like a good image, you have to put your best foot
Yeah.
forward. Like I think a lot of far leftists just think that
Okay.
it's just an unfair system, and we need to be given all these things as concessions for past grievances and stuff like that. As communists, we're like, yes, there were past grievances, but let's move past that and let's build towards a future that everyone will benefit from.
Do you feel like they intentionally didn't have any Asian people in the leadership because there's so much negative association with communism in China in American history?
I don't believe so. I just think that it was just. I mean, like I said
Coincidental?
before, like I said, most of us are anti-communist because when we immigrated here.
But it is kind of weird that they were like, we have a token black guy, we have a token Hispanic guy, we have a token Middle Eastern guy.
Well, that's not.
But there's
that's,
no
That's
Asian
the thing.
people.
That's not. They're not token. They're just naturally the communists.
It's crazy because the leaders of communism in the world are Asian. China, North Korea, Vietnam.
It is.
Yeah, that's what I
actually,
mean.
at this
Is it for
point.
optics that they didn't have any
'Cause-
Asian people? Because they were like, we're going to
Russia-
I don't
get-
think so at all. I think that those were just the leaders that all had the same vision and same goals, and
I
that
guess-
had a significant presence online. And they were, you know, there were a lot of different factions that were promoting communism in the past few years, obviously, during the pandemic. But I think like over time, these three places, Infrared, Jackson Hinkle, and Midwestern Marks,
They were the most active ones, right?
they were the ones, not most active, but they were the ones that kind of like coalesced around a similar toward like basically like the fundamental ideologies they agree on. They don't agree on everything.
Okay.
But on
On the
specific
most important
fundamental
points.
points they agree on, and so they coalesced around this core. To what, you're not agreeing with?
I
that?
don't know. There's plenty of Asian American communist influencers. You're one of them. There's also
Yeah, but
Roy.
I don't
and
know. I don't
How many
that much-
Asian Americans?
I
do
know,
you
but
think?
it's not just you. There's even Roy. Roy interviewed Jackson Hinkle himself on his own podcast.
Roy, first of all, is affiliated with Infrared, so he's already part of it. But second of
I
all,
know, but-
he's in
Right, but then that's
Taiwan.
even more
With
reason.
all those Asian people on
All right,
social
so
media,
he's in Taiwan.
they couldn't even get one Asian guy in there.
I
don't
feel like
know.
I feel
It's
like it
not-
was for optics.
But if you
that
wanted-
picture was for the leadership. So Roy is not part of the leadership.
I know. I'm saying
Well, that's
of
what we're saying.
all the Asian communists that I see online, including you,
And-
including Roy, including all the others, they couldn't find one to
And
be a
it was
leader.
in Chicago, so they wanted to
Oh, it's
launch the
Chicago?
thing in Chicago.
Oh, it's in
So
Chicago.
what?
So what? Roy's in fucking Taiwan.
I know,
we
but
don't have
Roy's not the
planes?
only one.
Do
There's
communists
others.
not take ride planes?
Roy's not the only one, though. I mean, like again, there's
But
you and
again,
there's
there was
others.
two criteria. It was part of the leadership that was in that coalition group, and they have to be in America, right?
In America.
Like I'm sure if Roy was in Chicago at the time, I'm sure he would have done stuff with them.
Because I honestly feel like they were like, look, if we have an Asian guy in the leadership, there's less
I
likelihood
don't
that
think-
there's
I don't
going to
think that-
be
I don't think that
mass
was a part
following
of the
because of all the
conversation.
negative
I don't
propaganda
think
surrounding
that's-
communism
they
in
might
China.
be accused of CCP or something.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking that. I just thought.
Because
No,
they,
but-
they openly support China.
Yeah,
they are like
I
very
would
pro
think-
China.
I
So I
would-
don't believe
I would
that
think
at
if
all.
But yeah,
you're-
but that's different if you have an Asian person in leadership and they're like, well, how much is this guy?
But
No, that's
feeding
not,
information.
That's not part of it.
But I would think if you were gonna start a communist party, I think you should break through that. We are aligned with China. They shouldn't be ashamed of that.
I
or
just do
anything,
think it's
right?
funny that Asian guys are left out again.
It's not that they're left out. It's just that we
Out
don't
of the
have
leadership position, I mean.
right. But part of that is because America is
Out
so
of an
racist
ideology that
someone
was
like
born
me,
in Asia.
like someone like me should have probably more followers, right?
But you're shadow banned, right?
But because of the anti-Asian racism in America, I'm not. So then, yes.
Wait, so
I'm
then
sure
apply that to the leadership team.
No, but then if I were, let's say I was like, 10x or 100x more popular, I probably would be invited
Possible,
to something
yeah.
like this. But it's just kind of like you don't want to put your, first foot forward with someone who's like, wait, why is this random guy with, 3,000
so
followers?
that comes to think that our Asian population is not enough in America. How much? How many? What's our percentage? I
think 6 right
We
now?
are 7.2%, but I think like maybe 4.5% is Southeast Asian.
Okay, so it's
I think
most.
4.5 to
all right.
5% is like.
So
because I think
percentage-wise-
2.5% is like India, South.
Really? The South Asians are that small?
South Asians are smaller than East Asians.
I did not know that.
Out of the top 8 languages spoken in the United States,
Wow.
4 of them are Asian languages.
Korean is number 8.
Shabam.
Hey, Korean is number 8.
Holy shit,
in
Tagalog's
America.
4?
Spanish is number 2. Chinese is number 3.
Filipinos, what?
I mean, I don't know. I think they need Asian support, man. But
Yeah.
okay. Maybe they'll get one later.
Hey,
Hey,
Jack,
I'm
you
just
have
saying.
if you want a petition for me to be part of the plenum committee, then I'm all for it.
those,
But,
did you get to talk with?
I'm not going to ask for that.
Did you?
Maybe that's the problem.
You weren't you considering to running for
Mayor.
an elected elected seat before?
Yeah, but again, like I said on the last episode, that
No, it was off camera.
Oh, but basically, yeah, I decided that was a waste of time.
I see you worded it differently this time.
I kind of forgot what I said exactly now.
Oh,
So,
okay.
I didn't remember.
okay, so you tell me.
But so you want America?
You said you would have a hard time not becoming a part of the deep state.
Yeah, exactly. So, or rather that in order to actually win, you need to become part of the deep state.
If
So
that's
it's
the
like, why would I waste my
You
time?
heard it here first, people.
But how about this party? What if they make some good they find some good candidates and make some noise? You
Yeah,
see
so I would
that
support
that
them.
could be a possibility
Yeah,
too,
I
right?
would support them.
Do you really think by 2036 was it
Yeah.
that they would really be able to have enough support where they'd be able to have actual candidates in actual American politics?
Yeah, I believe in 12 years they can have seats in Congress.
Like actually then be elected, not like, other parties that exist that I don't want to mention.
Libertarians and Greens.
You said it.
I mean, I'm optimistic, but yeah, I think that they have the people that have the competency to get there, in my opinion.
I think
Okay.
12 years is enough time to grow a very large movement, but
Especially in today's age. Like, I think,
I think 12 is actually
Because of the
More than enough.
interwebs?
the
Yeah.
interwebs, they're
even
very...
4 years if they're,
They're also very
Yeah.
technically savvy themselves.
Are they all of
They've
them?
kind of
Okay.
done a lot of things to start this party, but to protect it also from Fed infiltration by using like Telegram and all these other stuff to for their infrastructure.
Fly under
I
the
guess
radar.
all the Asian guys are doing the grunt work there. We're the smart ones, right?
Welcome
You're
to
really-
America.
You're really harping on this like no Asian
under-
faces.
I mean, it is an Asian
Dude,
ideal.
It's Hollywood thing. It's like Hollywood, right?
It's the beginning of a it's the beginning. Like,
just one day.
look, let's.
Hey, we created it, but like in America, we're not part
Hey,
of
we're
it.
only we're only the leaders of communism in the world.
Number one, right?
We are literally
Nation.
gusanos. Like, most of us are gusanos. Let's just be fucking real about it.
Okay, but so are most of the Cuban or whatever
Mexican.
whatever you call the anti-communist immigrants. Aren't they mostly gusanos then?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they found non-gusanos for each of their racial whatever colors of the rainbow.
We literally came because of anti-communism. So yes, there are not that many people. Like you mentioned Roy, and he's like very rare. Even I'm a rarity.
You
Like a
obviously
Korean
you like
American
to tell
communist.
yourself.
You-
I am a fucking rarity.
Among your friends, how many are communists? I mean, I'm talking about your childhood friends.
Well, how many friends do you have first of all, and then how many are
Oh,
communists?
jeez.
I don't fucking know. I don't
Jeez.
like make a spreadsheet of all my friends
Oh, it sounds
that
like
ever
you do.
existence, and like, is he a communist? Let me write that. It's like, what is this fucking retarded
I have
conversation?
I have a few communist friends. I don't think it exceeds 10, but
That's a lot.
yeah, but
What is that percentage wise?
but
Of what?
that's like 100%, right? No, I don't know.
Total friends.
Oh,
No,
totally.
but I noticed that the communists though they're very political, right? They're very. But
I would think so. They
the-
have to be, right?
The average person is kind of apolitical. They don't really know what's going on. They don't really care.
Sure.
So, yeah, in terms of the most like, they're usually communists, and followed closely by MAGA guys, and then the
Liberal.
blue MAGA, vote blue no matter who types.
Oh, okay.
They're the most political, but communists are the most hardcore. But anyway, I hope they do get more, get one Asian later on.
Hey, under communism, is it supposed?
And all the big Asian communists are already affiliated with fucking Trotskyite organizations like the DSA and the PSL.
Trotsky. Yeah, Trotsky. Are they Trotsky? The PSL?
PSL is Trotskyite, in my
PSL is
opinion.
not a Trotsky
They
organization.
don't openly call themselves Trotskyite, but they are Trotskyite. In my
Well,
opinion.
they support China. They support North Korea. That's why I think they broke off from Workers' World, because Workers' World was being more Trotskyist. That's what my understanding. That's what happened about 20 years ago when the PSL was formed. And I've seen some PSL members at. I know some Korean PSL members.
Okay.
So that's why I'm like, are they really Trotskyists? Because I don't think these Koreans would be part of them. But anyway,
Yeah, but under communism, I have a question. Are you supposed to be colorblind? Because when I hear like the true communism, not the communism that got distorted, I'm asking.
What do you mean by colorblind?
Like
You
you're
gotta be
not supposed to be
specific
like
about this.
racial,
Yeah.
or, right? More
Yeah.
of a worker-focused party, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
but
about class,
but
not
it also
race.
acknowledges that
There have been-
there have been racial injustices and things.
Okay.
But yeah.
Because racism is connected to capitalism. It's
Okay.
connected to how do we exploit people and have them accept it,
Yeah.
have the other people
But
accept
it's-
this.
But so then how do you exclude identity politics from that? Because that in itself sort of is identity politics.
Because it's the liberal way of like making identity politics the forefront of trying to like correct grievances by pendulum swinging rather than building an actual base of kind of like how we move forward. For example, like affirmative action, right? Really functionally, it's like a Band-Aid on a broken arm. Like what is helping the top, black students get into the top schools? How is that going to help the guy in Baltimore, like
Go to Johns Hopkins?
who's going to go into probably like gang violence and all that stuff? How does that help the bottom superstructure? So I think the identity politics is a bourgeois like kind of ideology because it only tries to like surface level stuff that like, oh, this is easily fixable, that will be beneficial to how I look. Like, oh, look how virtuous I am by giving like, these rich, black or LGBT or whatever people all these opportunities.
But doesn't solve the root
I
of
don't
the
really
problem,
yeah,
right?
exactly. I don't care about these guys, whatever, because they're not going to help my political, like me be, politically cool or whatever. I'm going to help these people at the top.
Sure,
so that's why
short-term
like,
effects because of politics is short-term.
So
Exactly.
it was a white method of, pretending to do something while
White
not actually
liberal.
doing anything.
Yes.
Kind of like the Gascon thing, right? It sounds good, like he wants to, the
Exactly.
injustice, but then actually, the actual practice is that you're fucking up, and more people
Everything.
are being attacked and hurt and all.
Even
this,
the
right?
civil rights movement, right? Like what we found is that black people as a group or black Americans as a group are actually doing less well than they were during the 1960s as a group.
As a group, yeah.
Financially.
I saw the data.
So it's just kind of like, what are we actually trying to help here?
But that's all Americans in general, no? I'm
No,
guessing.
but I'm just saying,
Especially
like,
the
in
black
terms of
Americans, right?
like,
So like you mean
percentage,
like
in terms
focusing
of-
on like affirmative action instead of putting effort behind like bettering our education system, making it more
yeah.
equal,
Exactly.
equity. Okay.
Or like for instance, like Koreans or Asian students go to these institutes and study harder, after school. So if blacks had that kind of service, it could have probably helped their
Black
propel
people.
black Americans.
Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of like, how do
I
we
saw some data. It does say blacks.
How
I
do we-
didn't say anything. He did.
how do we fix the problem? Like affirmative action was 60 years ago, and we are no closer to like solving racial equality. So what are we actually fucking doing with these identity politics?
When I
policies?
hear this Communist Party, I think it might probably do well in these Rust Belt. Actually, the workers.
Possibly, yeah.
That's
Oh,
how
I think they
I mean,
have a
that's
better
why-
chance of converting than
They're
white
for sure.
liberals.
They're
Yeah.
targeting. That's why they're targeting MAGA communism, because they're targeting
I got
what
it.
MAGA.
MAGA, those Rust Belt, they wouldn't want to see an Asian face. I can see that.
See,
So it
it
is
was
strategic. I can
intentional.
see
I
that now.
told you.
I
No,
guess
no,
it's
but-
possible.
I told you.
I'm
No,
just
no.
saying I know these people, and I don't think they think
what
like
I
that,
think
but-
is, I think in America,
subconsciously.
even like communists, probably I think Douglas is an exception, but I think it's very difficult to be like so pro-communist. Like even I grew
Because
up
of
in
the optics.
I grew up in South Korea, and no, because of the communism, it's almost like a stigma still.
That's what I'm
right?
saying, because of
Right?
the optics.
Here-
Yeah, here
Yeah.
too. I don't think it's a race thing. I think it's a lot of Asians who are conscious about not being labeled a communist. I mean, Doug is not
But that's the same thing,
but I
because
think
if
many
Asian people are cognizant of not being labeled a communist, then I feel like they're also cognizant that maybe it's not a smart thing to have an Asian person because
I actually don't think they thought that far.
I mean
don't
it
think
could have been subconscious.
No, or maybe they just don't know that many Asian people.
because Asians.
That's
Same.
Occam's razor.
But that's also weird
Which
because
is also another thing,
Right,
right?
but then
you
also,
suspect
like-
you'd know lots of Asian
Sure.
yeah,
communists.
but like how can you not know Asian people through the interweb?
But
I'm
don't
sorry, I
you
keep saying
think
that through the
Asians
internet.
care more about how other people view them compared to like other races? That's how I.
Well,
I
at
see it,
least
like,
at least the
you know?
way it works with how we've been discriminated
Because
against
if you
in
are
history.
labeled a communist, I don't think you can get a good job.
I mean,
job
like whether
interviews.
you're communist or not, I'm pretty sure almost every Asian American person has been called a communist as a derogatory term
Really?
before. I've heard it so many times.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah, I literally got into a fight with someone because
Because
someone was
somebody-
like, "Go back to North Korea, you communist," and I just turned around and punched him in the face. So yeah, I mean that happens.
That's good.
I did it. Just
Thank
kidding.
you.
I would have said, "You're right. I am a communist."
You're right, Douglas. Thank you very much.
I saw a meme the other day. It was like, 4 different images, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And the first one says, when someone calls me anti-American, and you're just like, when someone calls me, whatever this or that, a commie piece of shit, You're just like chilling. And then the last one says, when someone calls me a liberal, then you get mad. Like,
That's me.
like communists don't want to be called liberals. They fucking hate liberals.
So
But that Wikipedia page, though. I'm just kidding.
That's to piss off the.
Exactly. That's exactly. That's to piss off people like me.
I wonder,
They purposely did
You
it.
know,
to piss
I mean,
off.
that's why I keep bringing it up. So
no,
The anarchists changed that.
in corporate America, if one of their employees say that they're a communist, are they okay? Is it cool? Is corporate America cool with that? I'm just
I mean,
wondering
at this
whether
point, it's
because,
discrimination, right? You can't. If you're
no,
able
I'm
to
just
prove
wondering.
it.
Is that? I mean, because Asians care about those job security and all that. Probably that's why
Well,
they have.
usually if they're in
that
those
is not
jobs, they're-
that is
they're
not a
not
full time
actually
paid.
communist.
Are they all full time paid board members there? It's voluntary, right? This
Where's
part.
the money coming from?
The money coming. Where is the money coming from? Yeah.
It's not coming from Soros. Is it?
Wait, what? ACP's money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
American Communist Party.
Who's funding ACP?
Somebody must.
No one at the moment, I think.
Yeah, it's all just
It
voluntary.
is a day
Voluntary,
old.
right?
Or
Yeah,
grassroots. Yeah. You're asking
It
me
is
these questions.
literally
No,
a day
I'm
old.
just saying. Probably that's why there's not a Asian board member there. Probably because they have their
I don't know. That's a lot of
This
insinuation.
is negative Occam's razor right
All
now.
right, all right. Let's.
Okay,
all right,
number 2.
Fuck. Let's.
Okay, now we're finally at number 2
see?
topic. You're right. We're
Let's
only
go
going
on.
to do 2
Let's go
topics.
to. Okay, so American Communist Party. Good luck, but you guys need some Asians. Ho Chi Minh, Kim Il
Douglas.
Sung, Douglas, Kim.
Ho Chi Minh was one of the founders of the French Communist Party.
Right.
Oh,
He was there, but anyway, Douglas, Kim, Roy. Anyway, Roy's one of them. I don't know if Tina's a communist, right? He's not, or he's like a Maoist or whatever.
No, he's a liberal.
Okay, but
And he's CIA.
But I
so.
think
He's
the party
CIA.
has to be careful of
Well, his
CIA
father's CIA, so.
infiltration.
You didn't know that?
the founder of Plan A magazine.
Teen. Yes.
He's the founder of Plan A, right?
Yes. His father
His
is
father
CIA.
was in the CIA. What did he do in the CIA?
I don't fucking know. He was.
Data analyst.
You didn't know that?
Does he openly
He
talk about?
Yeah, he talked about it on fucking Plan A.
Well, I don't listen to every episode. Okay.
Wow.
All right, I didn't
right.
know that. Who other Asian communists? David Yoon, the guy who did the
Yes, he's a
documentary.
communist.
And then there's other people within his circle that I know are communists.
How about Shin and me? Oh, but
She's not. She doesn't know that stuff. She's just an ajumma.
Wait, what happened to that
Pak Dae-mil.
episode? I didn't see it.
Which one?
The one with the North Korean piece for North Korea.
Oh yeah, don't bring that up right now. What's the next
Okay,
topic?
now you're gonna have to bleep out this entire.
Yeah, let's move on to topic number 2.
Yeah.
So, have you guys heard of a woman? Her name is Sumi,
Yep.
and her last name's Terry.
Terry.
Sumi Terry. She has a BA in political science from NYU, a PhD in international relations from the Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy at Tufts University. She's a senior fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations, a U.S. think tank specializing in U.S. foreign policy and international relations. The membership of the CFR includes politicians, CIA directors, bankers, lawyers, CEOs, other
deep
prominent
state,
media
right?
figures.
This is like as deep as this is as deep as it goes.
The chairman of the CFR is David Rubenstein, a Jewish billionaire founder of the Carlyle Group and owner of the Baltimore Orioles. Sumi Terry, from 2001 to 2008, was a senior analyst on Korean issues for the CIA. She's been a
So literally CIA.
She's been a talking head on MSNBC, CNN, Fox News.
Yeah.
She's married to Max Boot, who is her second husband.
Washington
Max
Post.
Boot is a conservative Jewish writer and historian who believes America should be the world's policeman. He supported the U.S. invasion and occupation of Iraq and the 2011 NATO invasion of Libya. He's a strong supporter of Israel, opposes dismantling the Israeli settlements in the West Bank. He's been called a warmonger by Tucker Carlson and Glenn
Wow.
Greenwald.
A
Yeah.
Warmonger by Tucker Carlson. That's like
Oh, is it Carlson? Yeah, Tucker Carlson and Glenn Greenwald. And her husband is also a member of the CFR.
Max Boot.
Yeah.
Where
Now,
did the name Terry come from? Her first husband?
well, she was born in Korea. Her first husband's last name is Vidra. So her first husband's name is Guy Vidra. So Sumi Terry was born in Korea but moved over to the U.S., I believe, with her mother as
6
a
years
child.
old, right?
Maybe her mother remarried a
married.
Terry. Maybe.
Possible. Yeah.
I'm not sure about that. I couldn't find information.
so she's the South Korean Yeonmi Park.
Well, she came as a child.
No, I'm just kidding.
And Now she's like in her early 50s, I believe.
I,
So recently in the news, it was stated that Sumi Terry was charged with spying for South
Yeah.
Korea in exchange for designer goods, and she used her husband to co-write propaganda articles for her alleged South Korean handlers, according to court documents and social media. So there were lavish dinners in Michelin-starred restaurants in New York and Washington. And by the way, the more Michelin stars, the more horrible it tastes.
oh, does it?
In my experience, don't rely on a French tire company's recommendations on what's good food.
A French tire that was built upon Vietnamese slave labor.
Is it really the same Michelin?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
It is. Okay.
I would rather rely on the Hanguk or the Kumo Tire Guide. Anyway,
Kumo tire.
she got Bottega Veneta and Louis Vuitton handbags.
Yeah. She
Tens-
even,
Yes.
didn't she even go to change for a better bag, for a more expensive one?
I don't know.
I don't
She
know
did.
She
anything
did.
about this person.
Oh, this is really
Why
big.
Are you asking
Anyway.
me?
She got tens of thousands of dollars to hold a happy hour in Washington last year with ROC intelligence and U.S. officials in attendance. At the South Korean government's direction, apparently, she advocated Republic of Korea, South Korea policy positions, including in published articles and during media appearances, and also disclosed non-public U.S. government information to the South Korean intelligence officers and facilitated access for South Korean government officials to U.S. government officials. Now, last year, Terry and her husband Boot wrote an op-ed, I think in the Washington Post, called South
surprise.
Korea Takes a Brave Step Towards Reconciliation with Japan. And then in another column they wrote last year, they referred to President Yoon as a courageous leader. So what is she? Is she a foreign agent? Should she have registered as one? Like, is she really a South Korean spy, like American working for the South Korean government, or is she still CIA? What's going on here?
So FBI have been investigating her for the past 10 years, I think, and then that's how they tracked down all the presents that she was getting, in favor of
Who was giving
writing,
him her presents? Like the South Korean government?
South Korean spies, yeah. South Korean.
So the South Korean government.
yeah, South Korean government.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they got caught. It's an embarrassment. I mean, South Korean government is kind of pretty embarrassed about this whole situation.
So they're not denying anything.
They're not denying anything, and it's on 조선일보, 중앙일보, 동아일보 every day. They're talking about this. Because it's a public embarrassment. For
That
they
got
were actively
caught?
bribing, a CFR member, right? What's her name? Sumi Terry. Yeah, and they got caught.
So it's an embarrassment because they got caught, not because
It's an embarrassment because they got caught. Yeah, because
Just wanted to clarify.
and I think one of the biggest thing was she should have been registered as a lobbyist, but she didn't. So
You
Yeah, so if
as
she
a
had, it would have
foreign
been
agent?
legal.
as a foreign agent, then it would have been.
You
okay.
know,
It would have been legal.
she's if she is a spy, she's pretty cheap. All it takes is a few handbags. And
Yeah, I
dinners.
mean, a lot of the stuff you read kind of sounded a little like, who cares?
It did seem like kind of like one of the things is facilitating
Like American.
South Korean and U.S. government officials to like talk. Like, I don't see what did she do wrong here. I don't understand.
You introduced people?
I think
That's illegal
if
now?
she was most of the time they register as a lobbyist. Then it's there.
I
It's
mean,
no
the foreign agent.
Yeah, foreign agent.
So-
So then it's not a big deal. But in this situation, she got some presents, Louis Vuitton, some.
But why is it a big deal? Nothing she says or anything is against the deep state.
Right. It didn't
You-
sound like she leaked
No,
any
no.
like sensitive information.
Yeah, like what exactly
Because,
could she have
because
done?
she was.
Couldn't it just be
she
looked at
was-
as like a
she wa-
cultural?
she came out on CNN, MSNBC, or Fox News, kind of representing South Korea's point of view regarding these foreign affairs rather than United States. So that could be an issue in the
But I
United
mean,
States.
like,
But
regardless,
she doesn't work for the government. Why would she
Yeah,
have to represent the
I
U.S.
don't
views? Why
understand.
can't she? You can talk about South Korea's views or China's views. What's the problem? I don't see what this is. I don't see the big deal here.
I
Wasn't she a
wasn't sure if I
former
was like
CIA agent,
missing
though?
something.
She was a CIA agent, and she was
She
a
was an
CFR
analyst.
Analyst. So what I understand is she's supposed to represent United States.
And she's tight with Zionists. Her husband's a Zionist.
Okay, I mean those parts are obviously problematic.
Like
but
I feel like if anything,
Actually, we
this
ha-
is to throw off the scent that
Yeah.
from the South Korean government that she's really actually deep CIA, and this is a way to get the South Koreans thinking, hey,
she's our agent.
they don't want South Koreans to know that she's actually still
Yeah.
working for the, because I don't see what the big deal in any of this
Yeah.
is.
Because all of her everything she's saying is very aligned with CIA policy.
Yeah, I've always hated listening to her talk. I'm like, who's this bitch? I don't want to. Can we? Okay, don't edit it. But I'm sorry for saying that. I
You
don't
just
mean to
said
call.
B. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mean to call her that. But I get so annoyed when I see her on TV talking bullshit,
Yeah.
and then, yeah, she has. There's nothing against the deep state here. President Yoon is
You're
he
allowed to
deep
have
state?
opinions.
No. But
you're
I
allowed to
would
have
say,
opinions about it.
I know to communists that they might align, it's like South Korean government and United States, but there's a lot of dissent, going
No,
on.
I know. So
too,
that's
yeah.
why I'm saying like her positions seem very aligned with American and CIA positions rather than South Korean positions per se.
And I don't see Yoon going
But
against any of
I
that
think
either.
she did write some columns that are very pro South Korea. That's what.
But that's not illegal
according to
either.
But
Yeah.
pro South
but
Korea is pro America.
Yeah, pro South
Yeah,
Korea. is-
we're
No,
literally
but they don't
allies.
see it that way. United States government don't see it that way. It was
No, the
pro
government
South
does see it.
There are some dissents. I know that.
Anything
I mean,
that-
if you go
that
into like the
basically
nitty
says-
bitty of it, they didn't like.
Anything that basically says North Korea bad is American policy.
I think we gotta look at the columns that she wrote, but according to the reports that I read, it said that it was obviously pro South Korea after she got some presents. Like Yoon was doing a good. I don't know whether it was
No,
talking about
everything.
Yoon
It
Sung-yeol
sounds like it's very
or-
pro America actually, and they're like
No,
I
there
think
is
I
some
think that's more
difference.
likely what Mike
You know,
was
back
saying.
in
That's a
the,
spin.
I think back in the 70s, there was a guy named Park Dong-sun who was actively involved in lobbying and also hiring even prostitutes to compromise American
Okay,
poli-
what does
elected
this have to
office-
do with this?
official. No. So they say this is like number two. I mean,
No.
it's like a sequel of that.
That sounds way worse than what Sumi Terry
Yeah, what
did.
you're talking
but-
about is like Mossad tactics.
Okay,
Something
sure,
like
she
that.
shouldn't have accepted like gifts, but like
But a bag, okay, 2 bags. What is that like? Less than 10 grand, let's say, and then some dinners, maybe another 5 grand. I mean, this
but
is too
dinners are like business meetings though.
No, and I think the FBI warned her twice. Don't do this. Hey, you're getting presents and you're currying favors.
You
Don't-
think?
I mean, you're writing pro South Korean columns and
But
stuff
it's in
like
an
that.
op-ed. The
So
whole point is
they-
its opinion.
Yeah, but the FBI told her, this
I
could
think-
be in hot water.
I
So she
think
got
Mike's-
charged. The
I think
problem is,
Mike's-
didn't she get charged?
I think
Something is
Mike's
She got
very
charged.
shady about this.
I think Mike's explanation is the most accurate. That this is a deep state psyop on the part of the CIA to make it look like she's this sort of like South Korean operative, but
They're trying to
everything
hide
she's
the
saying
fact.
is everything she's saying is very pro-American policy.
I mean, 2 white husbands, Jewish husband, Zionist
Max
husband now.
Is
the
Max Boot
WMAF mind virus.
She's-
Max Boot also a Jew? Jewish?
Her boss is a hardcore billionaire Zionist, tight with the deep state. I don't see how they're gonna. Why would they go after her?
And
Just to throw the scent off
Horse
the.
and-
That's
Some
what I'm-
weird
yeah,
horse and
I
pony
think that's
show.
probably most likely.
she was pretty prominent, right? Because her husband is prominent, Max Boot. Max Boot is a famous columnist
like-
for Washington Post.
There are very few things South Korea and American policy are not aligned with.
No, there's a lot of that are. I mean, I can't give you like specifics, but there
No,
have
in
been a lot
terms
of
of, like,
international
in
issues
terms-
between South Korea and America. But anyway, she also produced a movie called Beyond Utopia. It's about North Korea, and she got nominated for an Emmy yesterday too. At the same time, and actually we invited her to this Culture Shock
guess.
season 1. The pastor and also one of the North Korea
Yeah, but what
detectives.
CIA said no.
But anyway, yeah. But she seems to be. She was nominated. She's friends with Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, so why arrest her? There's no
She's-
reason.
It's just a psyop.
Yeah.
I think Mike's right. This is just to throw up some sort of scent.
No,
That's what's actually going on.
I mean,
She's aligned with American policy.
There's
like
zero damage she could have done.
according to WikiLeaks, American government was even spying on South Korean government. They were wiretapping.
They even
and
tapped
all that.
Angela
Yeah.
Merkel's phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
they
it's something
probably-
like that. It's something like that. So South Korea was doing their own spying stuff on America.
No.
Yeah, but that's
Because
not
like
what
the
Sumi
current,
Terry was
the
doing.
current
No.
government is aligned with American foreign policy. 100%. There's nothing
Just
that-
because they align doesn't mean that they don't spy each other. I think even friendlies
even
can
so,
spy each other.
what is she saying right now? She's
Right.
I don't know.
basically
What-
saying
what
everything
what could be
that's
so
aligned
detrimental?
With, yeah.
Yeah.
There's
No,
no
but
point
that-
that she's making. There's no
No.
point. No, even if she is spying, okay, so what is she saying that's detrimental to the American and pro South Korean?
Yeah, I think the problem is
but yeah, if she was delivering
yeah.
actual information to spies, that
I
she
think the
shouldn't-
bribery thing is kind of big. In Korea, they're focusing on that. Bribery
that's a red herring.
It's a
there. I
tiny
think-
yeah,
bribe.
but it's kind of big, in Korea.
Sure,
yeah,
because
but
that's
because
exactly
in
why
Korea,
they chose
there
that,
is
because
there
they
is
know
like
that Koreans are going to be
there is like
manipulated
Kim
with a red
Yong-nam
herring.
no,
with
no,
this.
no,
But what I'm saying is
yeah.
that there is nothing she's doing that is anti-American.
But I'm just wondering, what is the damage? She
It
didn't.
doesn't mean that she's anti-American, but
But what information is she passing to these South Korean handlers then?
that we don't know.
Like, that's
That we
the
don't know,
most-
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is, what information could she possibly
'Cause-
have now that's so sensitive that she would be able to pass to South
right.
Korean?
She's not even actively in the
one
CIA.
of the articles that I read was she went into the
Technically.
CFR meeting and was supposed to be a super secret meeting, but she revealed all these documents to the Korean officials.
What documents?
I don't know. It's supposed to be secretive. So these classified documents, they gave it to her, and that was an issue too. I think. Yeah. So I mean, she broke the law, I guess. That's why she got charged. So.
Whenever
But
I
for it to be
jaywalk.
so publicized sounds very odd.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, like if Hillary or whoever meets with Saudi royalty or whomever, like business people, I'm sure there's always like some
You know
secret
what it
stuff
is?
being exchanged.
It's basically
It's culturally.
how like there is a lot of criticism that South Korea, like I say, like people like me say South Korea is America's bitch, right? So
Yeah.
then I think they're highly cognizant of like people who point out that they're like very much aligned together. So I think a story like this is kind of like to throw it onto the ether in order to be like, hey, look, see, we're not so friendly after all. We have discontent or whatever. We're not just being controlled by America. We have independent thoughts, but in reality, it's not.
So these kind of news can have a negative impact on United States and South Korean government relations. It could be regarding trade deal or whatever. So that is
It's not gonna have any
that is what
impact.
experts are
It's
worried
not going
about.
to have any
It
impact
it
at
would
all
have.
whatsoever.
It would.
All it is going to have an impact on the
It gives
on
them the edge.
kind of like how it looks to the public, how it looks to the global community who point out that they are very much aligned.
But
They want to look like there's some sort of discontent
Yeah.
to show the rest of the international community, hey, look, I'm not America's bitch. I have my own thoughts. I'm actually spying on America. See, like that's why they're
I don't
playing
know,
along
man.
with it.
I don't know. That's too much.
I
of
don't
a
know.
reach,
That
but
part
see,
does
yeah.
kind of make sense as to why.
You cannot say that's
Korea
too
is
much of a
making such
reach
a
when
big
you
deal.
say like
CFR
ridiculous
but I think
conspiracies all the time.
Council of no on conspiracy.
Wait, say that again?
You can't say that's ridiculous when you say ridiculous conspiracies all
No,
the
on
time. Wait,
conspiracy,
why?
I talk about things that are proven to be true, like Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra, and stuff like that. But anyway, CFR, she's a member of CFR, Council of Foreign Relations. I think that is considered one of the, fishy, what we call deep state, entities. So. Yeah.
I'm going
So
with
she
my
was a
explanation.
former
You can
CIA
go with your
agent too. So.
explanation. That's
All right, so nobody really knows, but to me, it seems like if she was a spy for South Korea, I
Not a biggie.
don't think they would be so blatant as to like gift her bags. That's such low level, amateur.
It does.
cheap
It does sound very low
crap.
level. Yeah.
Like if she really was spying for the South, she would have never met them publicly. It would have all been behind, like in hidden places and stuff like that.
One would
Yeah.
think.
The
What
fact
if,
that
what
she's
if
out
we
there,
come to find out they were all like
So this
counterfeits?
news is big because it's so blatant. How could she not be, at least
which
that
makes
secretive?
me think it's a fucking red herring
It could
on
be.
purpose,
It could be.
manufactured.
Side note: every time I hear red herring now, I have a hard time not hearing red heifer. God damn it!
I always imagine. Okay.
Those damn
Okay,
red
so
cows.
Michael was correct again. We got
It was
two
funny.
topics.
I was drinking alcohol with some friend.
Why are you saying that so?
I was
weirdly?
drinking alcohol. How
And
you do, fellow kids?
we were laughing about the red heifer thing,
The red heifer, yeah.
but we were trying to apply it. What was it? Some other country like if Mexicans try to take back California or something, they'd be like, "This is our ancestral homeland,"
They sacrificed
you know,
humans,
the red
like the Incans
was it
or whatever.
we came up with some animal here, and anyway,
Whenever you hear red herring, you go to red
Well, the
heifer.
ancestors
Because it's the
sacrificed humans.
same letters. It's RH. It's barely a
All right,
difference.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, the
Herring, heifer.
Why, why
it's
even go
one
with an animal
syllable.
at that point?
yeah, the red heifers.
Just human sacrifice.
Anyway, looks like we don't really know what's going on.
Wait, what were the other topics we were thinking about discussing?
Well,
I mean, you said you predicted correctly. We're gonna probably just
Rapid
do
fire,
half
1
two of them.
minute topics. Let's go.
Do it.
all right, 1 minute for the
1
next
minute?
topic.
No,
All
that's
right.
impossible, man.
Falun Gong, is it a cult?
Yes. Done.
I think it is.
We did
Okay.
it.
Next one. Are Asians anti-black or are black people anti-Asian?
Bottom of the barrel.
It
Yes.
depends on the
Both.
person.
It's
I
a
think it
bottom of the
depends on
barrel
the person.
distraction.
Wait, you first.
Bottom of the barrel distraction.
Crabs in a bucket.
Yeah.
Okay, bottom of the barrel distraction. What
I
do you
think
say?
it depends on the person. Yeah.
Get out of here, Michael
Everybody.
Wine.
Yeah, why?
He knows how to,
no,
like,
no,
just
that's
say-
real. You know, because I have friends, you know, who are not like that. So, like, what we
I know,
would
but,
assume.
okay.
Yeah.
Are Asians anti-black, first of all?
Slightly.
Are black people anti-Asian?
Much more than the reverse. Yes.
What's the ratio that, you know?
I mean, I can't put like a number to it. But I would say it's like let's say there were 1,000 Asian on black,
Minutes
and black
over.
on Asian incidents.
Minutes over.
Minutes over.
Or
Yeah.
100. 90% of them would be black on Asian.
Yeah, that's
Isn't it more than 90%?
unsubstantiated.
I'm being generous here.
No, I saw the actual figures. It was something like 98 to 2, or it was some.
Yeah,
it was like 2% versus, or 1% versus like 90. It was something crazy. I was like, damn.
Yeah, but maybe
Yeah,
just the way
didn't-
that we show our hatred
Yeah,
is
but
different.
I think, like you said, like when they
Right.
were talking about Asian hate crime reporting.
That's fine.
That's true. So,
But-
the racism that Asians might give black people is like a stare or say something or call the police, right?
which is violence for black
Right.
people.
But the racism that Asians get from black people might be shot, beaten, raped, stabbed.
But
And-
Followed to
but
your
some of it could
apartment and
also be
killed.
like less hatred, whereas like I feel like the Asian to black is like actually
I don't
hate-driven,
even
whereas
fucking
like
care.
maybe
I don't-
some
at
of the
this
black
point,
people
at this point, this is all fucking
are
semantic,
targeting Asians
jibber jabber.
because
I just
we
care.
I
don't.
told you it's
Are
not a
black
1 minute
peop-
discussion.
Are black people
Because we don't
attacking
report
Asians?
crimes.
Yes, no. Are they the
Like that
assailants?
Oakland thing,
Yes,
I don't think
no.
it was a hatred thing. I think they were just targeted because
Well,
they were
that's
vulnerable.
racism too.
Yeah, that's. I didn't say it wasn't. That's what I'm saying.
Racism is based on capitalist exploitation.
So did
like-
racism exist before capitalism?
Yes.
It did.
Yes.
I mean,
doubt.
yes, but not to the extent that it does today.
bullshit.
Just like slavery existed before capitalism.
right. That was based in racism. Look at Egypt.
Right, but the scale of the transatlantic slave trade by the 1600s was getting a lot of flack for being
What year did capitalism start around?
I mean, I would say around the end of
It's from feudalism, right?
Yeah, the end of like the
started
19th
from the end
century.
of the Middle Ages into the Renaissance era.
That's fair.
When they started the East.
Right.
I think like people point to the East Indies Trading Company, which was formed I think
That's
in
fair.
the 1500s as like kind of
Yeah.
the beginning of capitalism,
That's fair.
where people were literally pooling capital to enslave people.
Right.
Yeah, I believe the first
I think I was thinking like modern capitalism.
racial thing in
You're
the
talking more like industrial revolution.
Industrial
Like that was
revolution.
more.
Isn't
the
more? Didn't it start from Great
17,
Britain?
like the
Yeah.
late
The-
1700s.
right?
Yeah.
The industrialization. Right?
Yeah.
All right, so black people are anti.
mean,
We're
this-
equally
like he
racist.
said,
It's just in different
Like
ways.
yes.
Yes.
The answer is both are racist.
Yes.
Which community?
But it's really just a distraction from the
but-
bigger problem,
but
which
ma-
is white supremacy.
Mainstream media did when during the Asian hate crime when it went up, they stopped talking about the race of the perpetrators.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was creating a lot of racist conversations
Well, more like they wanted to protect black people, but
all right.
from
well,
racist conversations.
from the assailants from prosecution. But sure.
I don't think the media cared about that.
Okay, well, we'll get into this next time.
Or we won't. We don't all know.
So Falun Gong is a cult, and everyone's racist. Okay. New Communist Party forms in the United States. Doug approves, although they have no Asians.
Boo.
And
But Doug is gonna be active.
he's
though.
going to join, though, so
Yeah.
it's okay. And
Doug's gonna
I'll
lastly,
be that Asian.
Yeah, Doug's
then,
gonna
all right?
change it. Yeah.
maybe
I will be that Asian.
maybe
Better
Sumi,
walk that walk, mister.
Sumi Terry can join.
Sumi
Okay.
Oh, God.
And Sumi Terry is spying for Korea, or is she really spying for America?
It's more
It could
just
be a double
side
agent.
job.
Because
right?
now she has all that clout, right? Now when she goes back to South Korea, she can get all the info, right? Like, you're one of us.
No,
Yeah.
I think if you're exposed to this way, probably you're not a double agent. I think I don't.
Oh, you're not?
I think you're just a patsy.
mean, I think
she's just
she's-
a patsy right now. for America's propaganda.
And you know what?
Let us know what
already
you think in the comments.
There were comments online saying like, "Oh, see this communist Chinese whatever." Like, see, she's already a communist or
See?
Chinese
Told
or
ya.
whatever.
Yep.
Even though she's literally CIA.
You know,
Yeah,
she's
and
a
she was CIA, and her husband is a powerful columnist. Max Boot.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like if she was spying for North Korea, yeah, I'd be like, yeah, she's a fucking spy. But she's spying for the fucking South, which is 100% aligned with
Like
even
America.
more with
America
President.
also
You know, it's
spies
like saying-
Germany too.
it's
right?
Right wing of Korea is like super America pro.
It's like
pro-America.
Washington D.C. charging some
Israel.
charging you with spying for Gavin Newsom or something.
Sure.
Yeah.
That came out of left field.
But it's just kind of
I
like
see your point.
it's accusing
analogy.
like a Jewish person for
spying
like
on
spying on
Israel.
And on that
America
note,
for
thank you
spying
for
for
joining
Israel,
us.
right?
Yeah, which happens, but that never gets blown up.
Blown up. All right.
Kapow.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
So
Thanks,
we did
guys.
cover 4 topics.
So we covered 4 topics today.
Speed round.
Speed round.
You're welcome.
And you got anything coming up? Anything you want to plug?
Not really. I guess I'm going to
The
China
first,
soon.
first segment was his plug. He's a member of that.
Oh,
Yeah, that's true.
Vote Doug.
I
Endorse
endorse
this
the
message.
ACP.
yeah. Follow
American Communist Party, right?
Follow Asian communists.
follow on X at I am Douglas Kim, and on Instagram at Doug Fantastic.
Yes. Or in the description below where it should be.
Right. We'll have that later. You can follow Michael Wan on Instagram at Yongsuk
Underscore one. Underscore one.
YONGSUK
Underscore.
_WON. Yongsuk_1.
Right
And
there.
you can follow Ed Choi at
Etch-a-Sketch
on
with a
Twitter.
J.
I mean
Etch-a-Sketch.
TikTok and Instagram.
And YouTube.
ETCHASKEJ.
And in the description below, you'll find all this information.
I want mine right here. Just
And you
the
can
face.
follow me on Instagram at RLAWNS213. If you want to know what that stands for, the RLAWNS, switch your computer to Korean and see.
Oh, okay.
It's a secret code.
And that'll also be in the description below.
I'm on Twitter. I don't remember my Twitter username. I don't know my TikTok.
It's like MK41
you
something.
can-
Yeah,
tell
something
that.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, follow us all, and don't forget to. Oh, I need an exit script.
follow
You have an exit
Koreatown
script?
Remember to
Social
like this
Club.
video,
Okay.
leave a comment, subscribe to our channel,
And check the description below for more information.
and hit that notification
Description.
bell. Thank you for joining our program. This has been Ktown Social Club, and we'll see you all next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Peace, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Air horn.
Air horn?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah.
Ba, 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 ba.
Where did that first come from?
I don't know. But it's a universal sound.
In real life, like they used to do that in
yeah.
elementary school and all that. Thank you. Oh, okay. All right, man.
Just me trying to bully people into doing what I want them to do. No big deal.
Cut.